Welcome to the KINJAZ Podcast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
Folks, welcome back to the Kinjaz Podcast.
Welcome.
In the shadows. Guys, today we have back in the pod probably our most requested returner
Thanks
guest.
for requesting me, guys.
We have dancer, choreographer, artist, chef, fashion designer, visionary, creative phenom, the most requested guest,
Greasy-haired.
Sean Liu.
Let's go.
Is back in the podcast. What's up, Sean?
What's up, guys?
So you are the most requested. So we've been on.
Garshawn.
See,
Sorry.
that's why he's here. We've been getting a ton of DMs over the past year of please bring Sean Liu back to the pod. So we've been silent for a year now, and so for everyone that's been requesting Sean, here you go, Sean. Welcome
here I
back.
am.
First question from all the fans. Why are you wearing your shoes in the house?
This is an Asian household.
Oh, you can see my shoes in frame?
I mean, we could feel your shoes in frame, bro. Like, we could feel them. Looking at this fresh carpet right here, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not judging you.
No, I totally didn't even mean to wear my shoes in the house. I
wanted to
definitely-
say something earlier, but I figured that it would be a moment, so we're just gonna wait for it to happen.
Oh, you were waiting for me to be
Yeah, I was
exposed
like,
on
I
camera.
I felt
said,
uncomfortable.
no, I did not mean it. I totally did not mean
You're honestly making
Yeah.
me sweat, dude.
I felt uncomfortable.
I really did not mean
I was thinking
disrespect
about your
the
mom. I was
household.
thinking about your grandma. I'm like, I've met
I
them.
know.
Like, I don't want to be a bad influence. I'm like, you better take your shoes off.
Yeah, no, you should have told me. Thanks, guys.
Hey, well, thanks for driving out here. We know you sat through a lot of OC LA traffic to get here.
Hey, you're only like an
here
hour
you
late.
are.
What happened?
I traffic, you know?
Word.
Car crash, traffic, all the good stuff.
Not you in the car crash.
Not me in the
Okay,
car
good,
crash,
good,
but
good.
just the car crash.
Like,
you know?
if his car was smashed outside, I'd be like, all right,
That'd
forgiven.
be- That'd be kind of funny.
That
but
buys you like
that would
30
suck.
minutes.
Yeah, but it wasn't. So only like
Okay.
5 minutes. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Hey, you still made it here.
I'm still
You've given
here.
us
I'm
your
still
time.
here. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're happy that you're here.
Thank you. I'm
Very
I'm
happy that
I'm
you're
very
here.
happy to be here too.
Well, so this being your third time on the pod,
It is.
it's been over a year since we last talked. So if anybody is curious to what we talked about on those previous two
curious.
episodes, go back and listen.
Yeah,
Season
that's
1
right.
is still out there.
No, I'm curious. What was the most exciting stuff you guys talked to Sean about so I can get that shit out the way?
Oh yeah, because you
Oh,
you
man.
weren't here the first 2 times. That's why I was telling. I was like, I was here. I was just like, something feels different, and I was like, oh yeah, it's this fool that's right here.
This fool, first of all, it's not even the same spot.
We're in a different.
I
look at
know,
this, guys.
but anytime I start talking to him, everything just kind of disappears, and it just feels like
feel like calm
yeah,
and,
it just
like,
feels the
safe.
same.
Just feel
Yeah,
safe.
and
I
then
know,
you
we
come
haven't
in,
been
and
in
now
that.
I
Anthony
feel
comes in.
I feel violated. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That is
Okay.
so
Well, so and
True.
since you weren't here the previous two, ask away.
What was the
man.
most
What-
exciting thing you guys shared on the pod? Why did people want this guy to come back?
Yeah, why did
Well,
people
Sean,
Other
want
than
to
how
come back?
fine he
I didn't.
is.
I
Sorry, that was a Pablo Francisco kind of reference, but I know you don't know who that is.
oh,
Girl,
so-
you're fine. Yeah, you down fine. Right, you know what I'm talking about, right?
That's a good one. Yeah.
It was this.
Yeah.
This happened in. See, we were born in the 1900s.
right.
Yeah.
I was born in the 2000s.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand.
In the 1980s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was when we
Wow.
were born.
1900s sounds a little bit
1900s.
more befitting of the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
You know, that's why all of our photos
They're
are
black and white.
You know, just in case. Daft Punk's more recent than us. That's why they have color
Right.
photography
Totally.
and stuff like that.
It's still a little bit black and white, eccentric. But no, I think what's wait, why did people want me to come back?
I
I'm
don't
like
know,
watching.
man. You have a lot of fans, bro. A lot of people like you, and you're doing a lot of cool things.
Yeah, you do a lot of cool things, man. Let's talk about the cool things that this
Well,
guy
yeah.
does.
So the last time we spoke, you were in your bedroom because we were on IG Live when we did our last
in
one.
quarantine.
And at that time, you were furiously busy editing a film.
Oh, so nothing's changed.
And at that time, nothing was released yet, so you didn't really reveal too much about it. You just said you were working on a project,
Yeah.
and you were just day
Yeah.
in, day out editing mode.
Yeah.
And now that film is out.
2.
So
2.
let's talk about it.
The
Two.
Unspoken Narrative.
That is right. Wow. You remember.
Please,
Wow, I'm
I was
honored.
devastated I didn't make the preview, the screen.
As
the preview
was
yeah,
I.
it
I
was
was
pretty
very
epic.
devastated.
But it's okay. Could please talk about 2.
I didn't even realize that the last time we spoke, I was in the middle of editing it, and it's funny because every time we talked about it, it was always like trying to keep it on the down low. But now that it's out, it's just like kind of feels like it's just like out. Like there's really nothing much to like talk about. I mean,
Well, let's take it
There's
back.
nothing to talk
I mean,
about.
well,
So now that it's out, the cat's out the bag. Let's talk about the whole process. Like, what was the idea, the inception of the film to the entire?
And have you gone on any type of speaking platform to like verbally discuss and talk about like what that was in terms of what it was for you and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, since the film came out, there was a lot of different platforms that I've spoken upon that were talking about the film and talking about my intention behind it, whether if it was interviews or if it was like magazines and things like that. And to me, every interview that I had or every person I've spoken to about the film, it just like it caught me so off guard because like I was as hard as I worked onto the film, I was never expecting anyone to actually catch on to why I made it or the reason behind me making it. You know, it's always one of
You're
those
like too humble for your own good sometimes. You know?
Well, I mean, honestly, like I just like it's dance is such a risky thing. Like you people either accept it or they don't. And I feel like in this term, when you work so hard on something, there's such a risk of either people understanding the message behind it, or they just see it as something so abstract that they just, you know, they see it as an art, but they don't really understand what it means. And so for me, I was just afraid that it was so abstract or so deep that people were just kind of watching it like, oh, it's a cool dance video. But the whole purpose of it was really just trying to get people to understand why I made the film, why I chose dance as the lead tool of these messages, these stories. And so me being able to explain it all through all these different platforms was honestly like I was so grateful to have the opportunity for that, because it gave me, I guess, closure and like confirmation that at least I've been able to speak out about what this film means to me. And I, at least as long as that's out, like I feel comfortable knowing that putting this film out, I'm able to put dance in a new light, as opposed to just trying to make dance look as good as what it already is. You know, like that was the whole point of it.
So would you say that's like your clearest why to paint dance in a new light that other people can receive, versus maybe how you understood people to perceive it?
Yeah, like I just feel like nowadays, especially in the digital era that we're in, it just felt so. I think when I put out the film, it was the beginning of when the whole like digital era of dance started to become so popular, and I was so afraid because I was just like, you know, nowadays the concept of like quality over quantity has kind of flipped, and it's been so hard to put something that you spend so much time on being like, is it worth for people to see it? Did I put it at the right time? Was I just putting it out for my own good? And, you know, like I was like, I really want to reach as many people as possible with something like this, because I could care less about how many people watch, but I care more about the people that do watch it feel inspired and motivated to do something within what they've seen. And so I was nervous. And honestly, ever since the film came out, a lot of peers of mine and a lot of dancers that I know, and even just like general people, and like just people in general, they just like they've approached me in terms of letting me know how much they've seen dance in a new way, or if it's inspired them to create something similar to that, or it's inspired them to start something that can utilize dance in a new way. And honestly, and what still blows my mind is I get messages like once every day. It's like one little message, and I read them every day, just like literally blown away thinking about how people still go back to it and watch it.
Yeah.
Because something that long, you know, you don't really think about like going out your day or out your way to like watch something an hour long. But the fact that like there's at least one person that comes back to it every day to watch it, it like makes me, it brings me comfort, and it really makes me feel super grateful to think that, you know, dance did that. You know, dance, the quality of dancers and the quality of good people and and important stories and important messages really did that. And it allows me to at least like not feel like, oh, I have to cave into the idea of just putting something out just because people are expecting me to. Like, it just allows me to know that like I have this out for anyone, and as long as that's out, people know who I am as a dancer, who I am as a storyteller, who I am as an artist, and that's what's important to me. Like, and what's even crazier is that there's a lot of interpretations to the film, which is why I've never really sat down and been like, this is what each film means, like from the beginning. It was really
so. Speaking of like interpreting the film, right? So the
Mhm.
the title itself, To an Unexplained Narrative, right?
Yeah, the unspoken narrative. Yeah.
Unspoken Narrative. What made you land on that title, and did that drive the different sections of the film, or did you come up with the title afterwards? Like, how does the title play into all
The
of it?
title came out after, actually. Like I created each scene based on just like an overview of my life, you know, like when it came to hopes and doubts and war and peace. Like, I had every concept written down and every storyline written down, and then even the scenes, like the two fighting objectives of balance, whether it was war and peace, like all those things, they came after the storyline came about. It wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna write about war and peace and then it's gonna be about war and peace. It was just like, I'm gonna write just whatever comes in my mind, and I'm like, what two words best explain the concept of the scene or this message? And you know, there's some nights where me and my sister were like walking down from my house to the grocery store, 'cause it's like a good 35-minute walk. And
What?
yeah, it's like a good 35-minute walk, and we're just like walking so that way we have like something to do while talking about like just like exchanging like, okay, well, if this is a scene like Warren life doesn't make sense, or like, you know, like all these like. And what's crazy is that it really came like, I didn't choreograph anything, I didn't start anything until every story made sense. Like, I wasn't just like, okay, War and Peace, I'm gonna choreograph a piece about War and Peace.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like me and my sisters. Even the last scene was the hardest scene to just like write down in paper, because it was like, you know, I couldn't choreograph it until I felt like why is she looking at me? Why am I fighting against her? Where am I going after this happens? Why is she now mad at me? Like, there has to be a reason for every single action in every scene. Otherwise, it just becomes a sad piece. And I'm like, I don't want people to think an emotional piece has to be sad. I don't want people to think an emotional piece has to be contemporary, or has to be, you know, your stereotypical assumption of what emotional dancing is. You know, like, emotion is universal. You know, like, you can be angry, you can be hopeful, you can be sad, you can be happy. And I wanted to take advantage of all those emotions, and have a reason for those emotions, as opposed to just being like, okay, because I'm storytelling, I'm just going to throw a story out there and put every emotion I can possibly, and then put dance on top of that. It's like, no, why am I dancing? Do I even need to be dancing? You know, it's like, dancing doesn't necessarily mean I have to wave. Dancing could mean that I'm taking a step away from her. And my intention of that has to make sense, you know? Yeah. And so it came down to writing the story, then figuring out, it was like almost working backwards, you know, like just writing the story out, making sure it made sense, figuring out what portrayed that story best. And then 2 just came about it because, you know, everything that we were titling as every scene, everything that I was titling on every scene was always like this and that, this and that, this and that. And I was just like, I was like, I want something short and kind of clever, you know? And it's funny because every time I say 2, they're like, 2 as in like, to this person? Or like, 2 as in like, me too? Vera. You know? Shout out. Shout
out to you. We love you.
We love you. Yeah.
Was that the intention? You wanted it to kind of be up for interpretation versus having a definitive story?
Because I think that's what's so great about dance, right? It's just
I got no definitive story from it, by the way. I'm not even like sitting here.
Yeah, I'm asking
this shit was
out of real questions.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anybody even listening to this podcast right now that did watch it, they're probably just like,
right.
Okay.
Right, but that's what's funny, because like, even when,
which is fine.
Right, which is totally fine. But that's why I'm like, I never really sat down and been like, this scene came from an experience I had where this and that.
Did any of them come from like something like that?
Yeah, it did. Every scene came from a personal like life experience, which is why like I worked backwards.
Can you potentially share one of those life experiences just to get in the nitty gritty?
Yeah,
and hopefully something that you didn't share on any of those other Wondery platforms.
yeah.
Just want
No,
the juice, man.
Absolutely. I mean, there's I think one that I never really talked about was give and take.
Which scene was this dance wise?
This scene was the water scene, which was
with Casey.
With Casey, yeah. And you know, that came from a place where I felt like there was always an imbalance in certain moments where I felt like, and it had nothing to do with me and Casey specifically. It just kind of was the most clear way of portraying that message.
Are you sure? Just wondering. I don't know. Asking for a friend.
Which friend?
Anthony.
Ah, cool. Nice name.
Yeah.
No, but the concept itself was just, it was about like an imbalance where, you know, you can constantly give someone everything and you have that fear of taking something from someone, when in reality it's like if you're being given something, you're not necessarily taking it away from them. You're just accepting it, and you know, the concept of kind of not wanting to step in the water because, or not wanting the person to step into the water because that water itself is kind of your own poison, you know, and you not wanting to allow someone to feel that pain, so you're constantly hurting yourself or draining yourself from protecting that person, even if they didn't ask, you know. So this is on you, you know, and you're kind of just constantly doing that until at a certain point you have to kind of like give into it and just be like, I you know, we've gotten to that point where like we're lying to ourselves, telling ourselves we're okay, you know, and then at a certain point that person that you've been protecting all this time finally realizes that, you know, you can't take it anymore. And you don't have the power to deny that. So, you know, you're fallen, you're down, and you kind of switch places in a sense. And everything that you were afraid of pretty much has kind of been the sense where you wake up and you're finally back to 100 and she's gone, you know, and you realize that you could have avoided that by just understanding the balance of holding back or letting her be the one to give, or, you know, just kind of finding that right balance. And yeah, that just came from just a lot of
That's
times.
your personal experience? That's just motherfucking Shakespeare in here, dude.
Well, no, like it's just
you're living a life of poetry right now.
Well,
maybe tragedy for a little bit. It sounds like there's some weight there.
The thing is, if you realize that we all have had the experience, you know, like we've all have, and it maybe is not as like dramatic, but like we've all been at a point where we've been lying to ourselves and we've been kind of like telling ourselves. It doesn't even have to do with the like literal concept of giving someone something, but like we lie to ourselves, telling ourselves we're okay. Absolutely, helping other people or being there for other people when we also have to take care of ourselves in a sense. And
you are an extremely empathetic person.
Thank you. Well, I mean, and I want, that's why I'm like with that scene itself, the reason why I had her disappear before I could even be conscious again was because you know, it was just that sort of idea where you have to come to terms and just realize that you're not able to give someone everything, you know, especially if you don't have everything of yourself, if you don't have 100% of yourself. And that was kind of just a wake up call for him or for me in a sense in that scene, you know. And also, I don't know if everyone realizes, but like in every piece that me and Casey has done, even before the film, we've always parted ways. Like we've always went in separate ways, whether if it was before, like in even videos we did before the film, we always walked ways. You know, the first film in the scene, we parted ways. Second, she wasn't there, we parted ways. So the idea of the last scene,
You gotta walk away. You gotta walk away from her, man.
well,
That's what we're saying here, right? You just gotta walk away. Every single
mean,
time you
hey,
come back, you
sometimes
guys
you
end up
gotta walk
walking
away.
away anyways.
hey,
You know?
I mean,
I feel like that's what it's saying explicitly.
So speaking of like that dynamic with Casey, like how
Yeah.
much of the creative process from the writing of it to the creation of the actual choreography, what was that dynamic like working with Casey? Because you guys have been working together for years, right?
Well, it's funny because when I finished the film, Casey actually watched it the same time that I showed everyone else
For the first time.
for the first
Wow,
time.
okay.
Yeah, and it was mainly just because there was something about wanting her to be proud of something that she was a part of. You know, like I felt like it would have been just as important for her to be as proud as I was of the project. You know, and I felt like it would have been the same if she saw every single frame that I was editing. You know what I mean?
Extremely empathetic
And
and
I-
considerate.
I mean, well, I really cared about, like, for me, like, obviously, like, I do everything for my family and I do everything for, like, the people that I love, right?
Yes, you
So
do.
when it comes to, like, that film specifically, it was funny when I was showing Casey the film, we were watching it. It was like me, her family, my family, and a few like family friends. But I was on the couch and I was just like, and she was right there. And every like 5 seconds, I was just like,
Was this the showing at the complex?
no, it was a showing at my
okay.
house.
Oh, okay, got
This is
it.
the
Yeah.
friends and family.
Friends
This is
and
the
family.
friends and
Okay.
family.
We
Yeah,
were the friends of friends.
You guys
Got
are
it,
friends and
got
friends.
it.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you
Friends
go.
and friends VIP.
Appreciate
We were staff of the venue.
No, actually, it's funny because I'm glad that I showed my friends and family, because after that screening, I went back to the computer and I was like, oh shoot, I missed a few things. I was like, there's some volume issues.
You gotta do that.
You know, so I was really glad that happened before
Okay.
I showed you guys.
And also shout out to Casey. She's amazing.
Oh,
she's
the
more than a
best.
mover. She's a great person. It was fun to hang
Oh,
out with
she's
her
an
recently,
artist,
but-
yeah. But like I said, that's why, like, I wanted her to be proud of it, you
Yeah.
know. And so
Was she
But-
proud?
no, no, I'm kidding.
Just a good friend.
She was like, no,
Keeps it real.
no,
It's
but
like a 6 out of 10.
she's like 6 out of 5.5.
Can't wait for 3. The spoken narrative.
Right?
The
Hey,
spoken
this
narrative.
hey,
That's the
don't-
next one. You
Don't,
got it.
Don't,
Because we know that Sean's working on spoken narratives.
oh my god, don't even get me started on that.
Uh,
We know that.
There's
Gonna
so
get to
much
that.
happening.
We're
Is there
get
gonna
to
be a
that.
3?
It was great talking to you guys. Yeah, this is
And that's
great.
a wrap, guys.
And that's a wrap.
There
Thank
it
you.
is.
No,
Thank
well, okay, so I mean, the film itself, obviously, as amazing as it was the first time I had
Thank
ever
you.
seen anything like that.
Thank you.
From a single dance artist
Thank you.
from our community. And you won an award. You won a New York International Film Award for Best First Time Director.
Yeah.
That's no small beans, man. That's no small beans.
Yeah,
So
I wasn't sure where to go with that. Like, because I submitted the dance to a few festivals, like film festivals, and they got accepted into most of them, and then 2 of them won like best dance. And obviously, like, I was like, wow, I was like, besides like my friends and my families and like fans of mine, I've never really thought of anyone enjoying my work like that, you know. And so that was definitely something. I never really like promoted that, because I just felt like me being proud was enough, you know. Like I felt like me being proud of that achievement was great enough. Obviously my mom's in the living room being like, where can I get the certificate, you know? And I was just like, it was during
Yeah.
quarantine, so it's kind of just like you print it out. So I was like, I'll print it out for you. But then when the director award came out, I got nominated, and I didn't say anything to anyone, because I was like, I'm not trying to like flash it out if it didn't really happen, you
Sure.
know. And then there was like, I became a finalist, and I was like, and then after that, I was like, I got the email, and then like a few weeks later, then it said that like you won, and I was like, this is spam, right? I was like, this is probably spam, and then they like, I think they like called me or emailed me, I don't remember, and And they were like, yeah, if you would love for us to send you the award, blah, blah, blah. And then,
If you would love for us to send you, what are we gonna throw it away?
Like,
oh,
nah, I'm
right.
good,
I was
I'm
like,
good.
nah, I'm good. You know, my partner still was a 6 out of 10, so I'm just like, probably just like leave it out there.
And this guy just beat out like Quentin Tarantino.
Oh my God.
Dang,
Christopher
that's
Nolan.
what's up.
No,
Well, let's talk about it. This wasn't a dance award. This was a film award.
yeah, so
like,
it was definitely different.
you
Yeah,
know, that's a different caliber.
yeah, I wasn't. Well, that's what's crazy to me is because like I didn't even consider me being a director of the film until people were actually telling me that. Like I didn't go into the film and be like, oh, I'm gonna be the editor of the film. Oh, I'm gonna be the producer of the film. Oh, I'm gonna direct the film. Like I didn't consider that throughout the entire process of making it because I wasn't.
You didn't consider that while you were choreographing, while you were doing set design, while you were like
No,
choosing
because
costume,
I
while
just-
you were casting,
No,
while
because
you were
it was-
choosing music, while you were choosing you edited it.
No, I'm
yourself.
like being completely 100%
you edited
on
it
it.
yourself.
No, I
Yeah, if you guys check out the credits of this film, it's just Sean.
You're choosing-
Sean's
You
everything.
choose
okay.
the shots.
He played
okay,
every role.
see, the thing is that I honestly
Location
did
scouting.
not. I did not consider those roles because, like, in my head, it was like just making another video on a higher caliber. You know, it was like me being like, okay, let me find a location. Wait, I want CDs. Let me go buy CDs and write down these.
Which, to be fair, is exactly what we do anyway.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
it is what it is.
and it's
for all
and
the
it-
hats.
right, and it's not like I'm like, oh, I want to. I'm never like, oh, I want to be the one to find locations because I want to be the producer of the video. You know, it's like it just kind of just became this thing where I'm like I was just like I just had this sort of like anxiety where I'm like I want to make sure I have control of everything.
Right.
So like let me handle the CDs. Let me figure out let me figure out how to get these locations.
Yeah,
let me
man, you
scout
gotta
it.
do everything yourself, man.
Yeah, and
That cell phone's dropping.
my cell phone, my bad. But yeah, I so getting the director award, it was like completely unexpected because I didn't know how to react to that. You know, it wasn't like I spent so long working to be this director. I just all I cared about was making sure that everyone that was a part of this project not only understood my vision but believed in it as much as I did, as well as felt comfortable and felt as easygoing as possible throughout the process.
That's why you got it, man, because you're a real artist.
Well, thank you.
You directed the art. You know,
I
maybe
appreciate it.
maybe strip the concept of like what it is to be a director from like industry conversations and accolades and societal, you know, perspective. Think of it as like what you did. You know, you directed a creation, and I think that's why that titleage has originally created so much prestige. You know what I'm saying?
It.
So
Thank
that
you.
an award is a moment of reflection and recognition. You know, so
Yeah, no,
take that W.
I appreciate. I know. I remember you texting me that time. You were like, just enjoy it.
Come on,
Take
now.
that.
You know what I think is dope about that? Because you even said it wasn't that you wore all these hats because you wanted to be recognized as a producer, as a casting director, as a, but it was because this was literally something birthed out of your heart. You wanted it to be very specific, so you wanted to make sure like I need to have my hands on it because this is something that I believe in. This is from my heart, and then it's dope that it got recognized and awarded for that. You know,
yeah,
what I'm
I mean, and
saying?
shout out to like Marina and like my mom and my sisters and like Bailey and Julie and all that aspect of things, because like Marina helped me. When I hit up Marina, and she's super busy. You know, she like makes the wardrobe costumes for the
Marina's the
dance.
bomb.
She's the best, and like the Masked Singer, you know, all these things. So for her to go out her way to make like the ropes in the second scene, I believe, you know, there was at a point where like she had to make so many of them because there were so many dancers that we kind of took over. And then me, Cerise, and my mom, the next day, kind of the night before the shoot, we just started rubbing all these, like, it's kind of like deodorant, but it's like for like, it's like wax markers to make it look like actual ropes. And we were just spending it up to like 3 a.m. The shoot was at like 8 a.m. That same day. So we were just like, and then at the same time, the night before, I was painting the rest of the posters, and we had like a garage, but like with the amount of things that we need to let dry, I was like, I should have done this a week ago. You know, it was like my fault. And then like with me, Bailey, and Julian, during our scene with all the CDs, we spent like the first 3. Luckily, it took a while to set up lightings, and I think Chad was there. We were setting up lightings, and as they were doing that, Bailey and Julian were on a like forklift. I think it was like one of those like raising forklifts, and we were just like driving really slowly, stacking up 3 at a time, and going, and it took like 3 hours to set all that up.
And did you ever grow up even listening to CDs? Did you have to like use CDs, or did you guys?
I had
just come out with an iPod.
Are you kidding me? No, I grew up with a SpongeBob radio. That was like
See, I don't even fuck SpongeBob.
No, like I grew up with like, you know, those one of those like scrapbooks where it like flips like those CDs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love those, and I mean, but see, even with the ideas of the CDs, it was like the reason why I said like take 14, like there was all these different takes on the CDs was just because it was the idea of just like the amount of the work that we put into like putting like what was that? That was harmony and noise. You know, that the idea of it was like thinking that every mistake we make just becomes noise. You know, it's like every mistake just becomes take 57, take 58, 59. When in reality, it's just like all that noise, when you put it together, it like creates some kind of harmony depending on how you perceive it. And like you can't build harmony without noise. You know, like you really think about it, and you kind of just have to.
That is so beautiful.
You kind of just have to see it, or like, you know, like if people are like you know, I mean, you know what I mean. Like you stack that together, and you realize that like you're just walking up the stairs. You know, you can't just like hop onto the top of the building, being like harmony. You know what I mean? Like you have to think about it, where like every mistake you make, you're just pretty much building higher stairs. And then by the time you figure out what all those mistakes lead up to, you realize that like you're higher than what you assumed you were going to be at because of all those mistakes you made. You know, like I just see it as every mistake. That's another stair.
You weren't trying to get to the top. You were just trying to build a staircase.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the more I realized it was just like once I was up there, I was like, wow, I'm pretty far up there. I made a pretty tall staircase, you know what I mean, with all the mistakes I made. That's why there were so many CDs there. It was just because it was showcasing just the amount of takes and work put into all the like you know, noise that we've done. So
we must have a really tall staircase.
Y'all
it's all just made off of mistakes.
Y'all are touching the clouds.
I'm just a pile of post-apocalyptic mistakes.
Your staircase got so big that you guys had to make another one next to each other.
Our staircase is so big, we like are at the bottom again. Just
we got the Squid Game staircase.
Yeah.
I don't know what rooms it leads to. But well, so now that you've already accomplished a film, you gotten an award as a director. Is that something that you want to continue to pursue, or is that kind of a one and done project? Or
no,
is that like,
I mean, listen, nothing's ever one and done.
Listen,
you know? Nothing is never one and done.
Okay,
but my family teases me about this. I told them that once I put that project out, I got more anxiety than I ever did. Like you'd think that it'd be like, it's out, you know, but then once it was out, you know, I'm sitting in front of the computer and I'm just like, what do I do now? You know, I spent like the next 2 days trying to think about writing 3 maybe, you know, and nothing came out. I was like,
you chilled for a whole 2 days. Sick. Glad you really just dusted that one off your shoulders, and you know.
Okay, listen, I got so much like, and obviously, like I said, nothing came to me when I was trying to write 3, and I was like, you know what, the whole point of 2 was the fact that like it just all came to me, you know. It was everything was happening when it was supposed to, and that's why it was so real to me. But I just like I was freaking out. I was just like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do? I have nothing to edit. I was like, let me do something, you know. And
is that something that you struggle with, like not having a project to work on?
Oh my god, every day of my life. Like I just think about, it doesn't have to be like a project to work on. I find myself stressing out over days where I don't feel like I'm bettering myself. If bettering is a word, you know.
Yeah, sure, it is now.
You're a creator.
Yeah,
you
have to create.
And it not even create. I just feel like I have this need of wanting to connect with people. Which is why I create. You know, it's like me creating is my way of connecting with people.
Creating. So you don't. It's not create.
It's not create, Anthony. God.
It's create to connect.
It's create to
so connection is what the goal is.
It's create to
You're creating connection.
Well, sure.
You're creating
space
in your calendar to connect.
All right.
You know what I mean?
All right,
All right,
yeah.
Anthony wins.
Anthony
Creating
wins.
relationship. Come on now.
But yeah, no, I
win.
I feel like I get a lot of stress whenever I feel like I'm not doing something or working towards inspiring someone or exchanging with someone or connecting. I mean, heck, I try so many times to connect with this guy.
Whoa!
You know?
You gotta put
Not
me on
no,
blast.
no, I'm not.
Try.
That's not. Yeah,
Try.
But we do.
We made a
connect.
Pokemon video, right? It
Yeah,
was like
you're right.
6 seconds or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, we did the other thing.
You guys were sessioning over here the other day.
See,
Oh, that's right.
See,
that
stuff
was
happens.
this year. Yeah,
Told
yeah.
you
Little
stuff
choreo
happens.
sesh.
And then someone had to go.
Come on, man. I was your boss for like a second.
No, I mean, I've learned that like nowadays, I'm more grateful about the people that I get to be around with as opposed to the things that I'm doing. If that kind of makes sense.
Look, all I know is I'm in Sean's life to make sure that he can slow down. Sometimes you don't have to be doing amazing because like Sean's a guy who does amazing always. Always. And you know what? When you do amazing always and you don't chill out, becomes noise.
Wow.
We want to create harmony.
That is very
He's taking
true.
it back. He's
know what I
learned
mean?
from the film.
Just
man.
like
He's
every
learned.
single chapter had the duality and the dichotomy of the expression. You can't always create amazing. Sometimes you got to create shit. Sometimes you got to regret what you're doing, including spending time with this guy. You got to slow down. I do got to admit, though, I love sometimes not doing stuff with you.
I know. I did too.
I got to admit that.
I did too. And I told you that. I was like, you were one of the very few people that made me realize that like we don't have to do a lot to enjoy our company. So,
and I'm not a lazy guy, so I say that proudly. I work my ass off.
Yeah, you do.
But it doesn't mean I can't play my ass off. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have a
Very
good
true. It's a good
time. What are you
balance.
working so hard for?
Yeah.
Sean, you work hard. You work harder than any of us probably ever did at your age, almost. Maybe just different kind of work.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just really good at what you do at your age, is all. You
No,
know what I mean? But the
I
point is, you've accomplished more doing and pursuing your craft
appreciate
than
it.
I know I did when I was your age.
I appreciate it.
So it's kind of like I take a look at you and I'm like, yo, you are at a top, high level, amazingly built staircase. But you know, I feel like the only reason why we go up giant staircases like that is to ride the slide.
I know.
Come all the way back down so we can
Mm.
recreate and rebuild
Mm.
again and go.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think there's always just been a fear of mine where like I feel like it's gonna sound a little stupid, but like when I do have a day off, and obviously this is not like a realistic mindset, but like I always have a small fear where like if there's a day where I'm not doing anything, I felt like I've wasted the days where I'm like working and training and I'm forgetting everything that I've trained for just because like I didn't constantly like ride that train of working hard in a sense. Like for me, like whenever I'm just sitting down and I forget I'm not fueling my brain creatively or I'm not dancing, I feel like sometimes I'm losing like that quote unquote juice of becoming better or like becoming, I don't know. I don't know. I just like it. Like I said, it sounds kind of weird, but like I've just, it's just been who I am, and I feel like it's still kind of who I am now. Where like I just feel like if I'm not just like working, it just makes me feel like, you know, there are other people that are working, and there are people that are working to inspire people, and like I just want to be at that point, and I'm just like, how do I? Like, even if it's a small task of working towards something, I totally don't mind doing it. Like, I just want to do it. You know, otherwise I just feel like me not dancing even for a week makes me feel like, I'm not even joking. I think there was this one time where like I was on vacation, I came back and I was like, I forgot how to dance. I was like, I don't know. Like I can't dance with like Anthony now, or I can't.
he does suck now. Yeah.
Like I that's literally how I think, and I, like I said, it's not the most realistic mindset, but like that's just how I am, and that's how I've always been, because like I think I grew up I grew up in a studio where I trained 24/7. That was like my life. So I think there's still a little bit of like remaining in my brain and my heart, whatever it is. So I feel like whenever I'm not continuing that wave and I just have that one hiccup, it makes me feel like it brings everything down. And then you know, my knowledge of whatever it is, whether if it's directing, if it's choreographing, freestyling, whatever it is, makes me feel like I just like
So you know what this sounds
damaged
like?
it.
This sounds like one of them syndromes where, let's say we're all runners in a marathon, which by the way, congrats, you ran that marathon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wow.
The half. I did the half.
Hey, it's
You know,
it's
first one.
You're still
Not
doing
the
it.
Gateway.
You're still doing it.
It's like if you run in a marathon, right? If you're just running to run and you're like, you know, ranked 34 out of 300, it's not really that much pressure. But when you're in the lead, when you're in the front spot, everybody's paying attention, you're hitting every checkpoint first, every camera's on you, you're looking over your shoulder because everybody's trying to beat you because you're at the top already, so you can't slow down. If you slow down for a second, you're gonna feel number 2 and number 3 passing you. You know what I'm saying? But if you're already in like 100th place, 50 people can go back and forth and it doesn't matter because you're in your own lane. But at the same time, you don't have that anxiety, but that's why 100th place isn't first place. I feel like people who stay in the top 3, people who are in the top 1%, people who are built to be that type of person in their game, in their scene, in their culture, in their age, or whatever the hell it is, i.e. yourself, young greatness, you always have that feeling. That's what it takes. If you don't have that feeling, you'll never be number 1 in something.
Well,
You know
here's
what
the
I'm
thing.
saying?
Here's the thing is I don't feel like I'm at the lead.
That's also a characteristic symptom of
But that's what I'm
such
saying.
mentality.
Okay, but here's the
Thank
thing.
you for reaffirming me and
Here-
validating my belief system.
Here's the thing is like I don't feel like I'm at like the lead, and especially nowadays it's like there are people that are, whether if it's quality work or not, there are people that are doing things consistently. There are things that people are doing and putting out things that are consistent, whether if it's, I mean, honestly, like nowadays I see it where like when people are constantly putting something out, whether if it's 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, them lip syncing a song, whatever it is, it's like they're still working towards.
Chill, bro. You just talked about quantity and quality.
No.
That's why you did a whole feature film that you got an award for.
Listen. That's what I'm saying is that people are still like they're still working. They're still putting themselves out there. They're still doing things like that, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that because I'm not like that, I have to consider if I'm focused on the opposite of that, I have to make sure that the times where I'm not putting myself out there, what am I working towards? Because I'm not working towards putting myself out there every single day.
So you don't feel like you're putting yourself out there right now?
Not that I'm putting myself out there enough. It's just like I think that I'm just not.
I know what you're trying to say. Really, I'm just trying to transition. So what are you working on?
Whoa, well, when you put it like that,
You know what I mean? You obviously ain't putting out, 3 right now, so you must be doing something. Your character, you gotta be doing something sick.
Definitely had a busy year since the film too. I mean,
I don't know.
you're rocking a CDG,
It's
sweater right now, and you did a little campaign and
Doing Converse commercials and
Doing
stuff.
Converse
It's the
commercials.
little stuff, you know what I mean?
I don't see. That's the funny thing is you mentioned it being a busy year, and I totally forgot that I released the film this year. I was like, because I was talking to my manager the other like month, and I was telling her, I was like, I feel like I really did anything this year. Like I feel like I wasn't doing enough this year.
Meanwhile, your manager's driving away in a Bentley.
I know she was like,
you're doing fine, Sean.
she was like, you released the film this year, right? And I was like,
damn, that was this
like,
year.
That
Wow.
was this year. I was
Yeah.
like, oh dang, it like doesn't even feel like that, So I'm like, I guess that makes sense. But like obviously I was literally at that point where I was like, I feel like I didn't really do it. Like I know I did a lot, but I was like, I feel like I didn't do enough this year, And I know that sounds selfish, but like it was just kind of like how my brain works. I was just like, what else can I be doing to put so I mean, but going back to what you're saying about like what I'm working on, I think what's funny is that ever since I put out that film, I've been super invested into understanding all sides of storytelling, whether if it is dance, whether if it's singing, whether if it's acting, especially with acting. I really committed to acting since the beginning of the year. I mean, I've acted my whole life, you know, like I've done many guest stars when I was younger. You know, I've gotten a few blackmailing moments from friends with my old acting roles, which I don't blame them. I'd blackmail myself too, you know.
Nice.
But I like came to realization. I was like, dance has always been that sort of whisper in my ear where it's like you need to go further with it and commit to why you started dance from the first place. And that was to inspire people. It was to, like, you know, put stories out, you know. And I was at a point where I was just like, well, acting is like the epitome of that, you know. And acting's not even acting. Acting is like becoming a new person, becoming a new character. And because I've almost like saturated this character of mine with dance, I'm like, how do I learn to become a new character while still being able to utilize dance, you know? And so, you know, at this point, I was like, I really want to understand what acting's like, you know, like I want to go back to it. You know, I actually stopped acting after I did a huge audition with Avatar. And it was like something that I never really told much people, just because it was a long process. There was like a swimming audition, a new language audition.
You talk about the James Cameron Avatar?
I'm talking about like the blue Avatar.
Okay, yeah, that's the James.
That's the James
because I wasn't sure if it was the last Airbender.
No, the blue Avatar.
You're about
yeah.
to be a blue Avatar.
Yeah.
Like
It was like I went through like months of auditioning for that film, and we did a private read with like Steven Spielberg and things like that for like one time, and that was like my last audition with it.
Jeebus.
And it was like the greatest experience ever. I was like, we did training in a swimming pool with other people, and then it got less and less people every time I came back. I learned like a new language. It was like whatever it was, you know. I was just like, you know. And like there was obviously like aerobic like training as well.
They were gonna make you blue. You were gonna be a blue alien. I'm serious.
No, I got cut at that point.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah. Like if I passed that point, it was like me and like 2 or 3 other people. Like if I gotten past that point, then like I would have probably been a blue person or a blue whatever.
Damn,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
But
sick,
but that was the thing.
one of the
Navi.
Navi.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, like and I always look back at it. Maybe we should just continue the rest of this podcast.
Just leave it right
in
there.
in that language. Let's just continue the whole podcast. Finish the podcast in that language.
I don't want to accidentally get somebody pissed off, man. It's
right?
2021.
Copyright? Yeah, I know. Canceled.
That's crazy though, man. You could have been an Avatar. So I mean, you said that process.
That process was,
lot.
it was a lot. It was a long process, and I took a break from that because after that I started traveling more, started teaching more for dance and things like that, and I had to pick and choose. You know, I'm like I never enjoy like half-assing something just out of convenience. So I'm like, if I'm going to commit to dancing, it's like I'm not going to just choreograph something 5 minutes before class just because I was hired to teach. I'm like, I'd rather spend all my time and to look for music and give people what they are looking for, you know. And if I in order to do that, if I have to push acting aside, that's what I'll do, you know. And I was going to so many places, so I'm like, okay, then that's what I'll do. So that's when I pushed acting aside, and I went to that. And then obviously after the film, I was very inspired by just the way that people saw dance, and also I had this personal feeling of mine, and I was like, if I want to take dance to a new level, regardless of if it's for myself or it's for other people, I feel like I have to kind of go back to what I've always been itching for, you know, and that was acting. And surprisingly enough, in the beginning of the year, I auditioned for a Fox show, and it was like a new pilot. And then like in January, and it all happened so fast. In January, I booked a guest star for it. So then we shot the pilot in February, and it got picked up.
Hey-o.
Let's go.
Hey-o. And what was
Can we talk about what that show is or no?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and what's crazier is that when it got picked up, they wanted to sign me as a cast, like a lead cast for the show. So ever since that, I like moved everything to Albuquerque, like I mean everything, and regardless if I'm like involved in the show as much as like the main character, you know, the whole cast and the whole production of it, we're literally like family now, which is crazy. Like my fake mom feels like you know, like family, and then like the crew, and I like cook for them and all these things. Like it's just like it's literally a big whole family, and we have a different director for every episode, and so I literally enjoy like either on my off days, or if I wrap early, I love to just kind of shadow the director and see the way that they direct, which is so interesting because
Classic
they all
Sean.
have different interpretations of making every episode, and it literally blows me away just being in that set and being treated honestly like as a well-respected, you know, castmate, or as a person who they take care of. Like it just taught me so much that we should be doing that for anybody that we work with. You know, I'm just like, why aren't we treating each other like this? Whether if it's a small project, a big project, regardless, like we're all equals. So we should all be treating each other like my castmates, my fake mom, like she's a huge actor, yet she still treats everyone else the same, you know? And I'm like, and it opened my eyes, because I'm just like, there's a difference between treating people based on their caliber of where they stand in their ranking, I guess, to just treating everybody the way that you would treat everybody else.
Sure.
You know, and like, and there should be no difference of where you stand based on how you're being treated. It's like we're all equals. We just all play a different role, you know, and like from that perspective, it's like that's how you come out with a great product or a great film or a great project, by being able to look back at it and wanting to go back into that again. You know, like regardless of how great the final product is, if you didn't enjoy making it, you didn't want to remember how you made it, then there was really no point in making it. You know, it's like you're really just lying to yourself, telling yourself that you're making it because you're passionate about it. It's like, no, it's almost like you wanted to make it because you felt like you had to, you know. And what happens the next time you have to do that again? You know, are you forcing yourself to just work with people and being arrogant or whatever it is? It's like no, you never start a project wanting the final product first. You're starting the project wanting the experience, the memory, the process of the people. Yeah. You know? And so yeah, I'm honestly so grateful to have been a part of the show, which is actually, it's called The Cleaning Lady. And it's a thriller drama Fox show. And it's such a cool storyline. And my name is Chris in the show.
There you go.
And Chris.
Yeah. What's up, Chris?
So you can call me Chris now. Chris De La Rosa.
Chris De La Rosa.
You're a De La Rosa.
I'm a De La Rosa, yeah. I've always been destined for a De La Rosa, you know.
Are you playing Filipino?
I am playing Filipino, yeah. So, and, you know, it's the hair. So
nice. When can we expect it?
Supposedly in November, I believe.
Oh wow, it's coming out soon.
Yeah,
that's like next week.
Yeah,
man.
we better drop this episode like tomorrow.
November. Well, supposedly it was actually on IMDb. It said October, and I contacted like one of the people from the production company. I was like, "Is it coming out in October?" She's like, "No." I was like, "That's what I thought." You know, I was like, "We're still shooting." You know.
So you guys are rap shooting?
No, we're still shooting right now.
Shooting.
Yeah, I came here because I heard this guy was teaching a master class, so I thought.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm so joking. I'm so joking. But honestly, like,
I love you for it, but it's a joke.
No, it's a total joke. I promise. But no, honestly, like Anthony's a joke. No, honestly, like whenever I have my off days, if I don't have anything that I'm working on in Albuquerque, I try to just fly back to just to see people here, you know. I just like to make sure I get to see you guys and such, you know. Like I think that's what I have found most important nowadays, you know. And because I mean, I do have a lot of off days back in Albuquerque, but what's funny is that on my off days, since I'm in my apartment, I tend to just try to work on things that I can work on in LA once I fly back, you know. So
you're like, oh, it's my off day, I can't wait to prep my work.
That's literally how it is. You're joking, but that's literally how I think of it.
No, I'm not joking.
So yeah, it's I'm excited to see where it goes. Maybe the show goes great, maybe it doesn't. But honestly, in my opinion, like not just because I'm in it, but like the whole cast talks about it, and it's just like it's such a great show. It's different. It's like there's so many it's so diverse. It's a Filipino focused cast with like Mexicans and African Americans and Caucasians, and just like a whole diverse amount of people in this cast, and it says a lot in terms of. I was talking to I met one of my other castmates in the airport, because I act in the set, but I don't really act in other scenes. And she's Argentinian, and she was talking about, she's like, it's so cool how they're highlighting Argentinians in this cast, and having a whole like mob of the show with Argentinians, things like that. Like, I think it's super cool. And I was like, yeah. I was like, it's so great that you think of it like that too, because I think it's so great how they're highlighting Asians as a whole like family casted show, and not stereotyping them. It's just like, it's just
clearly they made you Filipino.
Hey, they're I already knew, I already knew the moment I was casted.
You look like Chad's brother.
I do. I can look like anyone's brother. Just
Chad,
just depending on what you do with my hair.
In Tokyo.
Depending on what you do with my hair, So, so yeah, it's again, I couldn't be more grateful to be just a part of something like this, because.
Dude, congratulations.
Yeah, that's huge,
Thank
man.
You. I appreciate
That's
it.
freaking huge. First time you told me, I was like, I know you don't drink, but I'm going to drink for you.
Thank you. Did you?
Yeah. Do you drink?
I do not drink.
Have you ever drank anything?
Maybe like a sip of white wine.
Is it white wine?
That was like a dare from Casey, actually.
That's a dare from Casey?
Yeah.
Dang, I'm glad you're like good friends with us, because we're about to dare you.
No, but Sean, we could sit and talk forever. We want to respect your time. We know you have another thing that you got to get to.
Because you came here late. Because
you can't be here late.
Yeah. Car crash. Yeah.
So we're gonna in classic podcast form, we're gonna hit you with the lightning round.
Oh yeah.
We got some new questions. So if you guys are curious to what Sean's previous lightning round questions were, tune into those episodes. But we're gonna hit you with the lightning round.
Give me the lightning round.
Lightning round.
The flash round.
In 3, 2, 1. What was a new pandemic pickup? Something that you picked up during the pandemic.
Geez, like groceries.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay, like a talent or
talent, a interest. You started reading something, watching something. You got into a sport.
Well, these are deep lightning questions. I thought it was like pizza or rat.
Are we already deep right now?
Okay, are you a virgin?
That was the apple
I
juice.
just wanted
time.
to measure
every
the gauge
part of my life now.
Let's take it back.
You're just getting every.
Don't you want?
Let's save that for the fourth round.
I didn't know. You didn't want to answer pandemic pickup. It's a yes or no question.
Pandemic
back
pickup.
To the pandemic pickup.
Pandemic pickup. Okay. Okay. Wow. I'm really. Right. Imagine if I answered all those questions.
Did you read a book? Did you watch a TV show during the pandemic?
Yes, but none that I enjoyed.
Oh shit.
Oh. So just a bunch of bad content.
Yeah. What did you experience that you're like, this sucks?
Just nothing that made me want to finish it. But okay, pandemic. Okay, pandemic pickup. I think from the pandemic, I really picked up on honestly, like I think that what the pandemic did for me was like it allowed me to look deeper into the things that I was interested in, whether like I said it was acting or if it was like being a director or whatever it is. Like it allowed me to like really step into like, okay, what does it really take to be a versatile actor? Like I have to really understand that, or like what is it like? How do I actually make a legitimate shot list in a video as opposed to me just writing down whatever and being like, this is what I want, So definitely the pandemic made me want to learn those techniques to just like go back to the beginning first before I want to advance into it. So yeah,
love it.
Did you happen to watch like any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies? You love them?
Are you kidding me? I watched every single one of them.
Okay, so if you were to associate yourself as a Marvel superhero, who would you most likely be in your mind?
Whoa. What kind of lightning questions are these?
Very, very
These
difficult.
are like thunder questions.
You never had any of these conversations or fantasies in your head before?
I mean, I've always wanted to be Iron Man. Let's be honest.
You wanted to be Iron Man?
I've always wanted, but I don't know if that's like resembling of like who I am. Like I've always wanted to be Iron Man just because of.
Who is Sean to you? He's in Marvel. He's definitely not the Hulk. I'll tell you that. Inside,
no, you're right. No,
the Hulk
you're right.
In massive
Shut
movements.
Shut up.
You know what I mean?
Shut up.
Hulk and massive movements.
Actually, what's kind of funny is I kind of feel like I resemble like Vision in a sense.
See, now we're
yeah.
guessing why
Okay,
though.
Vision. Just because like I feel like I have to have reasoning and sort of like logistics towards like the things that I'm doing before I even like pursue it. In terms of like me being like, I don't know, like obviously Vision, he's like a living computer, you know. So like he
More like a living Infinity Stone, but yes.
Yeah. It's computers, Infinity
Tomato,
Stone, MacBook
tomato,
Pro, yeah, same
pumpkin,
thing.
apple,
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. But he just sees reasoning and everything, and obviously takes things to account before it happens. But sometimes he makes mistakes, you know, like very rarely, in terms of like what like his reasonings are. He faces a few consequences, regardless of what that is. And I feel like that kind of reminds me of like how I see things, where like I don't like to push forward things until I feel like I have everything prepared, everything set, you know, and I feel like everyone feels good about everything, you know, or
Nice.
you know, I don't know. There's something
Vision.
about that.
I
Yeah.
see
Just
that.
from the top of my head.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously gonna
No, I like it.
That-
Obviously-
from the top of your head.
from the top of my
Wow.
head.
You see that?
Look at
And
what
the
he's
real
doing,
question
guys.
is, does this vision have a Scarlet Witch or no? No. All right, stop.
Whoa,
Is
that another-
All right.
Too far, guys.
All right,
Next
cool,
one.
Too far.
Next one. Are you a no? I'm just kidding.
oh
Virgo.
my god.
Out of all the Kinjaz noodle recipes that you cooked for us that one time at the complex, which was your favorite?
My favorite would definitely be the mushroom one.
That
The mushroom
was my
Kinjaz
favorite
dish.
too.
And surprise, we have all the ingredients right
Let's
here.
go.
Kinjaz noodles.
We're
Just
gonna eat
rises
it.
from the ground. No, I mean, honestly, I loved everything, but I loved every dish I made. You know, it's like clearly.
We
No,
definitely
kidding.
did.
Yeah, we
We
ate
ate
them
them
No,
all.
kidding. But I think the mushroom dish in particular, just because, I feel like it was just like the right amount where you can have a lot of it and not feel so weighted down, yet you still kind of get that. You still feel satiated from like what you would have with
Absolutely.
me and things like that, and I don't know. There's something about mushrooms with that sort of umami-ness. I don't know. I said umami-ness, and I just felt like there was a dirty joke coming from Anthony.
I'm a classy guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. You're right.
Oh.
You're right. Sorry.
What
You're
would
right.
you expect me to say? Umami. Is that what you're
Something
waiting?
like that. I don't know. I
That
don't know.
definitely wouldn't come out.
I don't know. Yeah. Definitely not. Sorry.
I don't
That was just out of this is a different dimension.
It's good. I see how you think of me.
Yeah. And also I feel like it's the most accessible for people to make. You know.
Yeah.
So
It was delicious.
That was
Yeah.
delish.
Okay, so you're stuck on this hypothetical island where you can only do one thing for the rest of your life, either cooking, acting, or dancing. What would you do? The other two you just suck at and your dreams.
I know, like I'm stuck in this island myself.
The island is really irrelevant.
Oh, I'm just like I can't.
But there are coconuts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was the island, I'd say cooking because I mean, like I
Take the island away. That was a stupid
Okay,
scenario.
okay. Okay.
You get to pick one of three.
It's like you're
in
stuck
life.
on a film
One
set.
and three.
What
one
would
of
you do?
three
For
in
life.
For
Dance,
life.
act, cooking. Which one are you picking?
You're stuck in a
Oh
studio.
wow!
With
Damn,
only
you guys
dance
really
songs.
just put me on the spot.
Isn't that a lot?
That's
I
what
mean,
this
I'll
is
definitely
for.
push cooking away. And then it'll probably be either dancing or acting. I think as of now, I'm leaning towards acting. I just feel like for some reason, like I've mentioned before, dancing has always kind of been like that coach for me, where it's like acting is what you should be doing, or acting is what you were meant to be doing, you know, things like that. And obviously, as a dancer, when you act, it can come off either over dramatic or too much, or you know, there's always that sense where like we do everything as a dancer and we act with our bodies, you know. And once we utilize what's above our bodies, we kind of get a little like confused as to like what's natural and what's not, because with dance everything's choreographed, or everything is, you know, trained to be that sort of emotion or that sort of action. So then once we kind of put our everyday life into words or into our facial emotions, you know, without moving our bodies and saying a line and being like, I love you, you know what I mean? It's just like,
Sounds pretty free.
it's like, oh, thanks, man.
Bring the awards.
It's like it's like, you know, you never know what's like too much or what's too not, you know. So and so I feel like every time I dance I want to make sure that, you know, I get the emotion across, but it has to be the most genuine way possible, whether if it isn't too much or if it's too not. If I'm sad, doesn't mean I'm like grabbing my head and like shaking my head, it could mean that I just like I question everything that I think about all the time while I'm still doing the moves, and that's still sad, you know. And too little can always just be enough, you know. I remember one of the directors in the episode was telling me like I had to yell at my mom, right? And it was supposed to say "I hate you," and it was like,
alert.
and it was like with like 3 exclamation marks. And there was just this one time where I did, and I literally whispered it to her, and like I walked away after. I was just like, "I hate you," and I walked away, and then she was like, "Yep, that was one." And I was like, "Oh, are you sure?" You know,
Yeah.
You know, it's just like one of those things where she was just like, "Yeah, no, I felt like that's just," and I was like, "Yeah, honestly, that's just how it came out of me."
And then you went
know?
to the writer, and you're like, "Period, son, just one period, okay."
delete, period. Thank you. Yeah, and then I walked out of the trailer.
Parentheses, whisper, asterisk, close
Whisper.
parentheses.
I love
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
I love it.
So yeah, I mean, again, dance is. I think I've always said dance is my life, but acting is the goal. You know, so
Okay.
Well, that means maybe dancing is in your life. Maybe dancing is just your vehicle.
Well, dancing isn't my life. Dancing isn't in my life. It is my life. You know, like it's just always a part. It's a part of me. You know, whether if I'm good at it or not at a certain point or whatever it is, it's just like it's always going to be a part of me because I'm always influenced by it.
Yeah.
Even with my acting, you know, I read my lines and I'm like, how would I move my body to these specific lines? And if it's subtle, then maybe the way I say it should be subtle too. You know, so that's why, like I said, dance is
that's cool.
always a part of me, regardless of if I'm doing it or not.
Concept and explanation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you had $1 million in your bank account right now, what would you do?
He's like, I already do, man.
So what are you doing
You're talking about like an extra million? Okay. Like right now.
right now?
When we were discussing these questions, just for context, we know you're not a material person, but we're just like, what would this cat do with $1 million?
Well, what's funny is my mom's remodeling the house right now, so I'd probably be
So you
able.
just remodel your mom's
I'd
house.
probably just pay off everything that she's like doing to remodel the house, and
I love
then
your mom, by the way.
and then thank you.
She's really cool.
She's the coolest, and probably get my 2 sisters a house. Like just because like right now
that's like a little ass house. $1 million ain't gonna get you nothing out here nowadays.
Oh, that is
man.
true.
You can get, like,
Okay.
a
Well,
toy princess
actually,
house
okay.
with
Actually, at least
rhinestones.
okay. Well, one of them. Okay, at least like my.
It's a good down payment. So as long as you got that.
Yeah.
other million in the bank account, you might be
Exactly.
alright.
Yeah. At least find a way to like, because honestly, my sisters are at a point in their life too where they're living their own life, you know, and they've got to work for that and things like that. And I know I do too. Obviously, that's what I strive for every day is trying to find work to, you know, continue life, you know. But like, my sisters have been further in life, and I feel like if there's any way that I could support that, I know again, $1 million is not a lot for 3 people in terms of like a house, like in house terms, but like if there's any way that I can
In California.
California, yeah, in Texas,
No,
but
no,
like,
real stuff. Let's go Oklahoma.
let's go to
baby.
Oklahoma, man. Yeah, no, I definitely would. That's like the first thing that comes off the top of my mind. It's just like
That's very sweet of you.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
My sister would get nothing from me. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Lena.
Sabalina.
hello.
She's richer than me though, so it don't matter. There's no point. I'm just, what am I doing? Keep it to myself.
What would be a dream opportunity for you? Something that you have not yet been able to experience but would love to experience in life.
Be a lead in a film, like in like a movie. I think that was actually probably brought to life when we started talking about my film in the last episode, which you can watch right now. No, okay.
Where can people watch the film?
I don't know. You tell me.
Netflix.
Oh, the film.
The film.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the podcast. The film is on my YouTube. You know, my YouTube. If you don't know my name, do a little research.
You gotta
figure it out.
look it
Yeah,
up.
you gotta work to watch it. You know.
Follow-up question on that, just for fun. If you were to play the lead of any movie that is already in existence, which one would that have been?
That's already came out.
Yeah, just so that we have relative understanding. Like,
Oh,
I would have loved to play the lead in XYZ film.
I would have loved. I would have I would have loved to be a lead in. Oh, can we talk about how okay, I was like both ecstatic and pissed that I never got an audition to even be a young Shang-Chi. I mean, hello. But then also I saw a kid in Eternals and I was like, excuse me. Excuse me. You know,
like why didn't they cast Anthony?
Excuse me. Yeah, sorry.
Like,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hook up your homie Anthony.
Like, come on.
I understand.
He's
that.
been waiting. You know.
So I do think Simu is like, I could have.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Simu, but like the moment you look at you, you're just kind of like.
I get he's prettier than me and buffer and speaks Chinese, but other than that,
but what does he have going for him? Yeah, like what is
yeah.
I mean, hello, Anthony literally speaks Shang-Chi.
This isn't Simu's fault, but I gotta say Shang-Chi's outfit, like his costume sucks balls. Like it looked like it was great right here, and then they started going down like we ran out of budget. Let's get some black.
Right? Yeah, I was like, how you gonna get like you think about every other Marvel movie for Shang-Chi, and they go ballistic with the outfits. And then you give my man something from like Zara.
Have you seen Shang-Chi walking around at like Disney's Avenger campus and it just looks like a regular Asian dude?
It really does.
They're like, here, wear this varsity jacket, this gray and red one.
Damn.
They just, I guess casting is easy. You just pick any of us.
It's fine.
Just
but yeah,
the role.
Definitely something leading to any
like Shang-Chi or Spider-Man suit. Like,
yeah, Spider-Man. They
Iron Man.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. Iron Man.
Well, let's just. You
don't even have the 10 rings. I'm not mad. You're mad.
Let's just hope though. I'm pissed. Let's just hope that like maybe in like the second Shang-Chi, right? He gets like a suit upgrade. You know, because if you really think about it, Spider-Man, he started with a onesie. You know,
true.
So like, hey, maybe
his onesie was more sick.
That's true. Okay.
Then Sean, and this has nothing to do with Asians. I mean,
no. I get it.
Really.
Sorry, but yeah.
Step up that wardrobe.
Yeah. But definitely a play.
Get like a Nike shoe sponsor or something. Like put some flair at the bottom. Like nothing happened down there. They could have green screened his pants.
Anthony's very upset about.
I'm just saying, man. It was alright.
Could have done like a little bit of CGI on the costume.
It was alright.
Just a little bit.
We should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, we should probably wrap this up.
I'm all pissed off at wardrobe for Shang-Chi.
So
sorry, go ahead.
Just for the sake of time, man. I mean, we had you on before, so we already know your golden rule. And again, if people are wondering what Sean's golden rule is, go back to those episodes and listen. So with this new season, we wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit. And obviously the name of our show, Movement in the Shadows, and the reason why we use that term, that tenet, one of those tenets for Kinjaz is the work that's done that people get to see the final product of. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens that people don't see, right? The work that's done in the shadows, and the work that's behind the scenes. And so we're inspired by Bruce Lee's quote. He says, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." And so the concept of mastery is putting in the hours, the blood, sweat, and tears that no one will see in order for you to master a technique, a skill, anything like that. So what is something that you feel like you have mastered in the shadows?
To be completely honest, nothing.
Really?
I don't think there's ever been something that I've completely mastered, because I feel like the moment I have the privilege of saying that I've mastered something makes me feel like I've gotten to the point that I've always wanted to get to. And I think I've never reached to a point in my life where I feel like I've been good enough to be okay with what I'm doing.
That is an incredibly intimidating question. We're talking about like Bruce Lee masters, like epic stuff. But
yeah.
What are you kind of good at that people don't know? You don't have to be a master at it, but like what are you kind of good at that people don't know?
That people don't know? I don't know.
Well, I hate to do it to you, Sean, but if you could just like at your house, pull out your phone again. Maybe even play like 10 seconds of that song that you recorded of you singing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That could be such a sweet treat for everybody listening.
No. Okay. Well, okay. Singing is just a hobby, right? I mean, and okay, when you say people don't know, I mean, I've had covers out on YouTube, so like I assume people already know that I can kind of sing a little bit.
What's your best
But-
about? What's this new clip?
Oh, the new clip is. Again, I mean.
Okay, next podcast.
Yeah.
next
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah. But I mean, just. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people see it this way too. But like, I like even growing up when I first taught classes, like I never think about teaching a master class. Like I couldn't even think about I thought of just calling a class of mine a master class, because I'm like I'm far from being a master, regardless if it's a title or not. Like master class isn't the word that I want to invite people into learning from me. You know, it's a workshop. It's a class. It's whatever that I'm offering them, but it's not something where they're coming in assuming that I'm a master. You know, like I said, it just because someone calls a class of the master class, I mean, I'm not saying that they automatically think of themselves as a master, but I'm like, I don't want people to feel intimidated coming into a class of mine thinking that I'm a master of what I do, because I'm just learning just as much as they are. You know, all I have is part of the puzzle, and the people that are coming in are filling that part of the puzzle. I have the picture of the puzzle, but there's just missing pieces, and those missing pieces are the people that want to learn. You know, so for me, I feel like if I ever consider myself mastering a specific art or a craft, it kind of pulls me away from wanting to better myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, regardless if I think I'm a master, I'm like, oh, I'm still training every day. It gives me that mindset of thinking that it almost kind of builds a subconscious ego that I'm not aware of. And that's what I always want to stay away from. And that's just me. Like I said, it's different for everyone. But I feel like if I've ever considered myself a master, I'm almost building an ego of mine that I'm not even aware of. And that people can only see it as opposed to myself. So I think for me, like I said, I see singing as a hobby. Anthony, acting, I still every day I go on set every day hoping that I do good to my character. I do what the writers wrote the story to be about, you know, what the director wants me to be. I question everything that I do when I say my lines, making sure that I provide the emotion that my mom or whoever is acting with me can feed off of. You know, I dance in every class hoping that it's not necessarily what the teacher wants, but it's I approach every class knowing that I could have done better. And there's things like every day I step into a class, whether if it's a dance class, right? And hoping that there should be at least one thing in that class that I can pull from that I never knew about, you know? And if I didn't do that, I feel like I never took the class correctly, you know? And so, yeah, there's just always those little things in my head where I just feel like I couldn't consider myself a master until a mentor of mine, or until someone that I consider a master considers me a master as well. You know,
if I could give you something, bro, I'm just listening to everything that you're saying, and what you're saying is that you have mastered, without you knowing this, you've mastered the art of being a student. And like the way that you approach everything you said, from dancing to acting to cooking to storytelling, you never go in like, oh yeah, I got this. Like this is my jam, and I'm here. I am to, you know, bless everyone in the room with my presence. You're going in as skilled as you are, you know, as talented as you are, which you only have because you have this constant student mentality. There's always room to grow. There's always a new thing to learn. And that itself is mastering the ability to be a student. I don't think any master stops learning. Every master will always have that growth mindset of there's always something to learn. Because if you think that you've already arrived, then you already put the ceiling on yourself, right?
Exactly.
But if you feel like, oh no, there's something that I can learn from everyone, that's how mastery continues to be mastery.
Right.
It's learning how to be a constant student.
And I think that's what puts the term master in a stereotypical term, where people think that when you're a master, you're it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're a master, that's it. But like being a master doesn't mean you're a specific person at reaching a specific goal. Being a master is understanding the concept of what will make you better the next day, regardless if it's your craft, it's being a person, if it's who you are. It's like it's not even a term. It's just like it's like almost like a technique, you know. And so yeah, I think if you're walking in the room thinking that you have everything to offer and you're blessing people with what you have, it's like you have to almost realize that nowadays everyone is talented, everyone is great, everyone can do what you want to do. It's a matter of how much you want it. You know, every single person in the room wants it in a specific radar, in a different level. They all want it in a different way, but depending on how much they want it and how smart they'll be to get what they want, it's like you have to come into it as like an equal. You know, you have to come into being like, we're all here to learn. Mm-hmm. You know, and the people that aren't there to learn, you'll be able to tell, and you'll be able to know that like those aren't the people that I need to be watching, or those aren't the people that I need to be looking up to, because you know that they're probably there. You can tell the almost difference in energy. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just like you come into it being like, I'm just like you, except maybe I'm more focused on this part of the dancing, more focused on the percussion of the dancing, and you're more focused on the vocals, or you're just more focused on wanting to be better than this person. Mm-hmm. Everyone has their own reasons. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we're all literally stepping into the room as the same person, you know? And then from that point on, once the class starts, once the timer's on, once whatever happens, that's when all the branches grow in different directions, but still up, you know? It's just we all start here first, and then it goes into different places. But it's never like, oh, we're all in different, you know, we're all coming from different sizes, and it's like, oh, I have a head start. Oh, I have a head start. It's like, no, you don't have a head start. We're all coming into it at the same time. And if everyone can be in that same level, it's like we would never care about what we do in class. We would just appreciate the fact that we're all together in the class together, learning, being there for the same reason, for the same intention, and supporting each other. We wouldn't have to have teachers remind us being like, you have to show some love to these people. Because sometimes we feel like we need to, because we can tell when there are people there for the wrong reasons, or there for forced reasons, or whatever it is, you know? So I think once we come to that realization, whether if it is dancing, or if it is acting, or if it's singing, or whatever industry we're at, I think that's what creates a community, and that's what creates a family, and that's what creates what dance was meant to be for, or that's what art was meant to be for. So
yeah, I love it, man. Well, Sean, I mean, it's clear that you have a strong intention and a reason why you pursue all the things that you pursue, and the fact that you ultimately bring it back to connecting with people, right? And as Anthony had mentioned, you know, you have a very strong empathy about you, and the way that you approach every one of your crafts, the excellence that you put into it, the student mode that you get into, and being very, you know, it takes a great deal of humility, you know what I mean? Like, I think you're a very self-aware guy. You know what skills you possess, yet you still are humbled to be like, but there's still something to learn. I can learn from the most novice person to the most, you know, right, advanced veteran person. And, you know, from everything that you do with dance, I mean, I get it. Like, it's so dope to me that you said that, like, dance is a part of your life. So that's not even the thing that you choose to pursue in terms of like your goal, because that's always going to be there.
Right.
But acting, kind of like, wow, this is very interesting. This is kind of a bit of a newer, I mean, I know you've been doing it for a long time, but a newer craft for you to be like, wow, there is like, I am fully like preschool, kindergarten.
It's a whole nother book.
Yeah,
it's a whole nother textbook that you're picking from the library, you know? Yeah. So, no, yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, honestly, like you said, I could talk with you guys forever. And I think at the end of the day, it's like carrying anything from this conversation, I just feel like regardless of what you do in life, if you don't have the right people with you along that path, what is it worth? You know, it's like, why, you know, it's at the end of the day, we do it for ourselves, but we do it for ourselves, but it's not like it's always just ourselves. You know, it's like we have our motivations, you know, and I feel like I've really come to a realization that like the human connection, the human interaction, the people in my life already, I can never take advantage of that, because once it's gone, you know, and the only person I can blame is myself, you know. And if I have any regrets, that's because of myself, you know, and I can't blame anyone else for losing someone in my life that I didn't want them to be gone if I didn't take any action from it. If I want that person to be gone, I'm not blaming myself. I just know that was the right thing to do. But I can't blame myself if I lose people that I care about, you know? And in general, I feel like people like Anthony have made me realize that like you just have to cherish moments in life with the people that you love and that care for you and that support you, and not search for more people, but just embrace the people that are already in your life. And then the right people will come into your life more and more and more, but at least you'll realize and understand that the people that are already in your life and accepted you for who you are and will never leave you are the people that you need to prioritize. You never think that they'll be there for you just because you are you, you know, and then try to look for more people or try to look for cooler people or more popular people or whatever it is. It's like, no, it's the people that are standing right in front of you are the people that are using their time to stand right in front of you. They're not just it's not like they got nothing else to do, you know. They actually care for you. So really think about that, and that's what life is really about, you know. It's about 2 or more people, you know. So
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Sean, we want to thank you for your time again, man, for coming out here to talk with us. We always appreciate you, bro. You're doing a lot of stuff, a lot of cool things. Anything that you want to plug to kind of for people to be on the lookout for?
just stream The Cleaning Lady on Fox. You know,
Cleaning
that's
Lady.
I promise you, it won't let you down if you really take the time to invest in the story. And also, there's a few other things coming out at the end of this year. Hint, hint, a collection that has to embody the power of Asian culture,
Sick, yes.
as well as also a few other things in the next year. But other than that, just go on one day at a time. You know, surviving one day at a time.
There it is. And you guys, if you guys want to follow him on social media at Sean Liu on IG, you can get all the latest and greatest stuff.
Yeah.
Again, thank you guys for listening, for tuning in. We are back, KINJAZ Podcast,
Heck
for
yeah.
the second season. We're excited to be here. Anthony Lee co-hosting this one with me.
Yeah.
And, we're stoked to be here, guys. Follow us at KINJAZ Podcast, cast with a K. We're on all your streaming podcast platforms. And get onto your platforms. And if you are digging this, leave us that 5-star rating. Write us a review. All that stuff helps us get visibility on the charts. And all we ask that you do is share it. We don't do a whole lot of marketing outside of our social media stuff. So if you dig an episode, anything that's talked on here, if you're feeling that, just share it.
Hey.
And we appreciate you guys rocking with us. And we'll catch you on the next one. KINJAZ Podcast.
The more seasons, the dirtier it gets. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I came here to not clean up crew, but just get a little bit more fun. So.
Oh yeah, you made a little mess.
Hey, I'm proud of you. That's how it should end.
Thank you. I'm proud of us. I mean, heck.
I think
kidding
we're
me?
all right.
Kinjaz Bang and Costco? Come on now. That ain't no. Come on now. I mean, well, let's end it there. Come on now.
Please stop.
Come
stop.
on.
Just
Kinjaz
stop,
Bang
Sean.
Yeah, we're gonna
and
keep going with
Costco. Come on. This ain't no like Instagram message on Costco being like, let me sell my things there. This is like some real deal, like Costco
In Texas.
in Texas.
Another stores in the Midwest.
Another stores in the Midwest. Come on now.
And 7-Elevens in Hawaii.
And 7-Elevens in Hawaii. 7-Elevens in Hawaii? Like, what are we doing? Like, see, that's when you realize, like, California's always late to the best things.